Hi, my name is Saashen Sealy. I'm a hydrogeologist. I am currently based in Florida. Now, a lot of people don't know what hydrogeology means. Hydrogeology essentially means it's the study of water and the movement of the water under the ground or on the land surface. And some of my major responsibilities as a hydrogeologist in Florida is the regulation of the water resources, be it for supply or other uses, or anything that may require a permit for abstraction. And I'm responsible for currently all the water management districts, aquifer recharge, and aquifer storage and recovery projects in Southwest Florida. During my stint in Barbados, as it relates specifically to Barbados, is that we have what we call an unconfined aquifer. And being the small island nation that we do have to regulate the amount of water we do take from the aquifer. Because a lot of people will say, oh, well, we always had water all this entire time. And why we can't have water now, what we call water scarce. And the reality is that Barbados has more industry. It's not just sugarcane factories anymore. We're manufacturing, we are conducting additional tourism, we're conducting all these additional economic activities that creates an increased demand on our groundwater. Now, as it currently is, Barbados withdraws, according to the Water Authority, 98% of the available water resources in Barbados. What that means is that we have practically tapped out the underground sources of drinking water in Barbados. And from conversations with a lot of people that I've met in Barbados about why they're saying, no, we're water scarce, we can't be water scarce, we look at all the water, so forth and so on. I want to give an example like this. Now, let's assume we had five plantations for the sake of math in St. Philip. And each of these five plantations were withdrawing 5 gallons of water. That is roughly just 25 gallons per day. Now, those wells are no longer pumping, but the Water Authority installed a well in St. Philip, somewhere in the middle, and they're taking 25 gallons per day. Now, if we begin to withdraw waters from those plantation wells again, it is not just 25. Now it's going to be 30 if we put an additional well, or 35, and so forth and so on. And it is the responsibility of the Barbados Water Authority to ensure they do not take more than that is available so that it's sustainable. Now, within Barbados, the availability and the distribution is based on the type of geology that we have. The vast majority of groundwater resources in Barbados is located on the west coast. So we have our most productive aquifer called the Bell Aquifer, which produces in excess of 5 million gallons per day. And then we have other wells along the west coast which continue to abstract water for the production of water for domestic, industrial, and agricultural uses in Barbados. Now, in terms of the availability of that water, you're going to find, for example, we're able to take 5 million gallons a day from the Bell because of something we call transmissivity. Now, to break that down into layman terms, is pretty much the rate at which water is free to move about within the surrounding rock. That is allowed in the Bell because the Bell is actually between two geological features. I'm not too sure if many people know this, but Barbados was two islands. And the Bell is at the base of the St. George Valley. So all that water, it flows from those highlands and funnels into the Bell, and there it can be abstracted. And in addition to that, it's just really nice geology to just keep the water there. Now, a lot of what we need to concentrate on as a small island developing state, especially in a world affected by climate change, is understanding that climate change just doesn't mean that is going to be hotter. It means that the climate will actually change. So you're going to find that Barbados receives less rainfall, but more intense rainfall in short periods of time. And because of the geology of Barbados and the makeup of our soils, a lot of that water won't be trapped in our aquifer, which then reduces the amount that's available to be produced. And as climate change goes on, you're going to find that we're going to have to develop different technologies to capture some of that water. we're going to have to develop additional technology to supplement our available groundwater resources, mostly because the water is just not going to be there. So within Barbados, beyond groundwater, you're going to find that there are various dams and various gullies in Barbados that trap storm water as it flows down the gully. It doesn't trap all because we still need some of that water to run down the gullies and maintain the ecosystem. But in trapping some of that water, it allows that water now to infiltrate or essentially to sink into the aquifer below and increases the amount of water that's available for withdrawal either from the Bell or various other wells along our west coast.
Hi, I'm Dr. Adana Grandison, and I'm here to give you a few tips on how to accurately and safely take your blood pressure readings at home. Before taking your measurement, sit in a calm, warm environment. Don't perform any exercise in the preceding 1 hour. No coffee, food, smoking, or even sinus medication in the preceding hour to taking that blood pressure reading. Empty your bladder and bowel. Most readings that are taken at home should be below or at 135 on 85 millimeters of mercury for uncomplicated hypertension. Lower home blood pressure targets might be advisable in persons who have the following conditions: diabetes, chronic renal disease, or coronary heart disease. If several readings are above 140 on 90 millimeters of mercury, make an appointment with your physician immediately. Ensure to take your readings at the same time every day. We advise 2 readings in the morning and 2 readings in the evening initially to profile yourself, taken 1 to 2 minutes apart. However, once you have established a baseline, you can choose a time suitable to your schedule where you can monitor your blood pressure readings.
All of our emotions, reactions, and behavior start with a thought. I'm Krisnan Hurdle, clinical psychologist and certified life coach. When we are confronted with a situation, the stimuli we receive from the outside is matched up to information, knowledge, and beliefs we have stored in our minds. This creates an emotion, and then a behavioral response follows. The information we have stored as our memories, beliefs, attitudes, and our trauma shape our outlook on situations and our responses to situations. It is therefore necessary to detox, to renew, and to train the mind. Be careful what you put in and pay attention to what comes out. Take control of your mind and take control of your life.
Barbadians, we invite you to get involved and play your part as we clean and green Barbados. Come into your community with media launches, bulk waste collection exercises, community engagement sessions, and giveaways. Get on board. Let's keep Barbados clean and green.
Beautiful, beautiful Barbados.
The Barbados Police Service is a dynamic organization which caters to the needs of all residents by providing excellent customer service within our communities. We are excited to inform you that we are recruiting new members to our ranks and welcome your participation.
We are building the Barbados Police Service within our communities. Are you smart, skillful, motivated, ambitious, reliable, and talented?
Smart to fulfill your life's dream.
Smart to chart career opportunities.
Smart to make a difference. Smart to pursue economic sustainability.
Smart to enable change.
Smart to provide public service.
I say to you today, if you have a love for people, if you enjoy nurturing your communities and taking care of persons, then definitely the Barbados Police Service, of which I am a proud member, is the place for you. So I encourage you, lend us a hand, join us now to help keep Barbados safe.
Come join us, join me in making our country a safer Barbados.
Your place is here in the Barbados Police Service.
Come, join our ranks and chart a career of economic sustainability. Make that difference as an agent of change while providing public service as you fulfill your life's dream.
We are going to see additional technologies being needed to sustain our way of life in Barbados. And unfortunately, that means that these means are going to be more expensive because withdrawing water from the ground is the cheapest form that we have. A lot of that is going to be additional desalination. Ultimately, that's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to invest into tertiary treated on aquifer recharge using the South Coast treatment plant, using all these different things. And a lot of people are going to be concerned, and rightfully so. A lot of people don't understand the science behind changing the water that's treated on the South Coast into actual drinking water. And that process actually makes that water cleaner than the water that falls from the sky. Think of it this way. We fast-track the entire process because at this current moment, we're probably drinking something that came out of dinosaur millions of years ago. We just fast-track that process. And we are going to have to use these additional technologies to supplement the groundwater that's available, simply because it won't exist. Now, in terms of using additional technologies like desalination and reclaimed water and transforming that into aquifer recharge for the use in production of potable water, we're going to have to see the infrastructure of Barbados having to change slightly to accommodate additional infrastructure being built in terms of housing and commerce and general new economies within Barbados into areas like St. Philip. Now, as far as my understanding is that St. Philip is what I would term a hydrogeological desert. What I mean by that is that if we look at the vegetation and the amount of rainfall that you receive in St. Philip, it is less than you would receive in, let's say, St. Peter. Now, the good thing about St. Philip is that it also is fed by some of that same water that goes towards the bell through something we call a hydrological divide. So not all the water that comes down from St. Thomas and St. George goes towards the bell. Some of it does flow towards St. Philip. And additional water then may be able to be extracted. I say may because it's not a certainty. What is a certainty is that in terms of rainfall that falls within that area of St. Philip, it is less than what it is in St. Peter. Now, a lot of people may say, oh, we have a lot of water in St. Philip. Why we can't just build more wells or drill more wells and take more water? The thing is that we can only take what is available. We cannot take any more. So you may see all these various streams and all these various runoffs and asking yourself why I can't capture that water. And the reality is that we must leave some for the sustainability of ecosystems around Barbados. That is paramount in our survival as a country. And just because it exists doesn't mean we should take, because my grandmother always used to say, just because you could afford it don't mean you need to buy it. Again, just because the water is there doesn't mean that you should take it, because the amount of water that you can take at any one time is so limited, such as we were going to refer back to that term, transmissivity, the rate at which water moves through the aquifer. that rate determines how much you can take sustainably. So you might have 100,000 gallons that you're able to take from a pool of water, but that rate is only recharged at, let's say, 50,000 gallons a day. So what that means is that you have to take 45,000 gallons because you have to leave that 5,000 gallons to maintain the ecosystems around Barbados. In a nutshell, I don't think Barbadians have that much to worry about in terms of one morning I'm going to wake up and not have any water. Water is always coming in the aquifer, water is always being returned to us, but our responsibilities as caretakers of this island is to use that water responsibly, which means that yes, we are going to have to use less so that there is water still there for us to use. That we are going to have to now use new technologies and new ways to ensure that what we have can stretch. So in terms of Barbadians having to wake up one day and saying that there's no water in our pipes, that is not a possibility. There's always water being recharged into the aquifer. What will end up happening is that you will see additional technologies being brought in. They are going to cost more money. There's no other way to say that. And I know everything is going up. And those technologies are going to be necessary if you want water to continue to come through your pipe on a regular basis. Because fortunately for Barbados, we aren't some of those countries in the world where water is rationed. That you get water today, you don't get water tomorrow, and some people get water tomorrow and they don't get water today. Once we continue to manage our water resources appropriately, bring technologies online as they are needed to be brought online, Barbadians will always have water in their pipes. Unfortunately, these new technologies are going to make water cost more. And it's going to be necessary technology and it's going to be necessary cost because Barbados' economy, us as a society, we cannot operate without water. That is a fact. So yes, the water is going to be more expensive. And fortunately for us, we have the University of the West Indies. We have some of the best scientists in the world available to us. We have some of the best scientists in the world working for our government. I've worked with some of them while I was here. I, as a Barbadian, even though I am no longer here currently, I still contribute back to Barbados my knowledge, my expertise. All of this I usually do for free, mostly because I care about Barbados. I have the utmost faith in us as a society and as a country to be able to solve the problem of our water resources and the availability of it as time goes on. We are going to find a way to get the necessary water that we need, especially because we have the University of the West Indies and all the experts that our taxes pay for to go along with it.